Okay, ji, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is the third session of O levels grade 9 accounting class, and this is for specifically for the students of Karachi Public School grade 9, right? But this may be useful for all students who are pairing in accounting, and this is a very beginners level class. Or for this class, if you want to understand things in class, what we are doing in this class, you must have this handout with you in the printed form or somewhere open in any gadget, because we will be solving questions from this handout. For the students of grade 9 Karachi Public School, this handout is already uploaded in the Google Classroom, right? You can take out this handout, you can take a printout of this handout, and you can refer to this handout while solving these questions. I will be solving few questions for you people to make you understand. Earlier to this class, we have discussed in our several classes what accounting is. We have understood this thing that accounting is a language of business, and businesses are of three types: manufacturing business, trading business, and service business. All these three businesses need to produce financial information in a way presentable to the stakeholders of the business, so that stakeholders can take their economic decisions in the business. They may be financial institutions, they may be investors, they may be potential investors, they may be insurance companies, they may be suppliers, they may be thousands, there may be several types of stakeholders who may be interested in knowing your business financial position, right? To understand the basic to understand this accounting language, we need to understand 5 basic terminologies first. We have already done those terminologies in detail, and a presentation is already with you people. We have discussed what assets are. Assets are the resources that are owned by business. They may be non-current assets, they may be current assets. Liabilities are the obligations of business. They may be non-current liabilities and current liabilities. Examples are already done there, right? Capital amount in which we, as an individual, as a human being, as a person separate, we set aside for our business, that amount is called capital for the business. And to understand this capital terminology, I have already briefed you about separate entity concept, which says that a business is a separate person, artificial and distinctive from the person who actually owns the business. Okay. Then we have done expenses. Expenses are the cost which we incur in maintaining day-to-day business affairs. These are the routine costs that has to be paid by business in order to function a business smoothly. We have already done with term revenue as well. Revenue are the sales of the business. In revenue, the cost and profit both are added. If cost and profit both are added, it will amount to revenue. So these are the 5 terminologies that we have already discussed. Now today's topic is accounting equation. Now before going into this accounting equation, I would highlight the definition of one term which is called transaction. That term is transaction. Transaction is exchange of value, right? Transaction is exchange of value. Business, once you invest money in the business, this is a transaction, because it's an exchange of value. The cash in the business is increasing, along with the capital is also increasing in the business. The money which you have invested in the business will going to buy furniture and machine and equipment for operations of the business. The money which you are using, the money which the business is using for buying machinery, equipment, computer, furniture, this is particularly a transaction, because machine is increasing in the business and cash is decreasing in the business. That is transaction. Any exchange of value is transaction. Business has acquired services of people. People work for the business for a whole month. Against those services, business has to pay them salary. It's a transaction, because business has taken the services of the people and they are paying salary to them in the form of cash. So it is a transaction. So there are thousands of transactions in the business, and these transactions are needed to be recorded in the books in a typical fashion, and that typical fashion or that typical manner or that structure and layout is basically accounting, right? This is a new terminology. Before going into this accounting version, I thought that you must understand this term, transaction. Now this we are going to further discuss this transaction once we move on to numerical application of how to record these transactions in the books of accounts. But today we are discussing accounting equation. Accounting equation is assets is equal to liabilities plus capital. Now to make this board visible, to ensure that this board is visible to you and the contents are visible, I will advise you to use a laptop or desktop and to maximize the picture so that you can see what is written on the board, right? So accounting equation is assets is equal to liability plus capital. Assets are resources of business are equal to the obligations of the business and the amount invested in the business. Whatever the resource is with the business, whatever the resources are owned by the business, they are either financed by the person who has invested money in the business or financed by the people who have given loan to the business. Liabilities and capital, when they are clubbed, when they are added, it forms asset, it becomes asset. So it's an equation, and this equation can be manipulated like this as well. Assets minus liabilities, we will change the sign. When it will come on this side, we will change the sign. Assets minus liabilities is equal to capital. This is what you have been learning in mathematics from ages now, right? So I am not going to elaborate this. So assets minus liabilities is equal to capital. You can rephrase it, assets minus liabilities is equal to capital. Okay, assets minus capital is equal to, let me change this ना, मैं इस वीडियो को एडिट नहीं करूँगा, इसी में हम चला लेते हैं, ठीक है? Assets minus capital is equal to liabilities. Equation can be assessed with a very small weightage of marks. So this is the beginning of accounting and numerical calculations. So we must understand how these figures operate and how these figures are calculated. You will find a handout in the Google Classroom. Download it, have a printout of it, keep it with you. It contains few questions. I am solving two or more number of activities given here in this question, and the rest of them will be solved by you, and you can WhatsApp me your answers, you can tell me your answers live on the screen when we will conduct this class tomorrow, and things will be done like that. Okay. In question number 1, it says complete the gaps in the following table. A, assets 12,500, liabilities 1800, capital is question mark. We have to find out the difference of the two values. So assets are given. If I go for this, okay, in A, in part A, assets are 12,500